In the bustling heart of Seoul, where the Han River glittered under the neon glow, Min Jae, a reserved architect in his mid-30s, sat at his drafting table, sketching blueprints for a high-rise that would soon pierce the city's skyline. His life was orderly, predictable, tethered to deadlines and client meetings. But beneath his calm exterior, a quiet ache lingered. A memory of a girl, a house, and a summer that had shaped him. 15 years earlier, Min Jae was a shy 20-year-old architecture student at Yonsei University, dreaming of designing homes that told stories. In his first-year design class, he met Soo Jin, a spirited music major with a laugh that echoed like wind chimes. She was his opposite, vibrant, impulsive, unafraid to chase dreams. Their professor paired them for a project, to design a small house inspired by a personal memory. Min Jae, practical and meticulous, suggested a minimalist structure. Soo Jin, however, envisioned a whimsical house by the Han River, with wide windows to catch the sunrise and a rooftop garden for stargazing. A house should sing, she said, her eyes sparkling. They spent weeks together, sketching under cherry blossoms, arguing over angles and aesthetics, and sharing stories. Min Jae told her about his childhood home in Busan, a modest place where his mother's kimchi stew filled the air. Soo Jin shared her dream of composing a symphony that captured Seoul's heartbeat. One evening, as they walked along the Han River, Soo Jin grabbed his hand, pulling him to dance under a street lamp. Min Jae, flustered but enchanted, felt his guarded heart crack open. He didn't confess his growing feelings, though. He was too afraid of disrupting their fragile harmony. Their project, a blend of their visions, earned an A. But as the semester ended, Soo Jin's family moved to Jeju Island. She left Min Jae a cassette tape of a piano piece she'd composed, titled "The House We Built." He promised to visit, but life, exams, internships, his father's illness pulled him away. They lost touch, the cassette gathering dust in a drawer. Now in 2025, Min Jae's life was comfortable but colorless. One rainy afternoon, a new client walked into his office. A woman in her mid-30s, her face familiar yet softened by time. It was Soo Jin. She was a music teacher now, back in Seoul to care for her aging mother. She wanted Min Jae to design a small community center in her old neighborhood, a place for kids to learn music and art. "I want it to feel like home," she said, her voice carrying the same warmth he remembered. Working together reignited old memories. They revisited their university haunts, laughed over their youthful debates, and shared quiet moments by the Han River. Min Jae learned Soo Jin had faced her own struggles, a failed engagement, years of chasing her music dreams abroad, only to return home unmoored. He confessed his regret for not staying in touch, for letting fear silence his feelings. Soo Jin smiled, admitting she'd kept a sketch of their project house all these years, tucked in her piano bench. As they designed the community center, their old dynamic resurfaced. Min Jae pushed for clean lines. Soo Jin insisted on curved walls and colorful mosaics. One night, working late, Soo Jin played her old cassette on a vintage player. The notes of "The House We Built" filled the room, tender and wistful. Min Jae, overcome, admitted he'd loved her back then and still did. Soo Jin, tears in her eyes, said she'd felt the same but thought he'd moved on. They didn't rush into romance. Instead, they built the community center together, pouring their past and present into it. The finished building was small but alive, a curved roof, wide windows, a garden where kids could dream. At its opening, Soo Jin played her symphony, now complete, while Min Jae watched, his heart full. The house by the Han River wasn't just a memory anymore. It was a promise they'd keep building together. Note by note, brick by brick,